Hi, I'm Donna Amrita Davich from Soul House Yoga Retreat in Northern Maine. And I thought today we could have some fun with some variations on headstand. A few years ago, I shot headstand instructions on the wall and off the wall. And since then, a few years ago, when I was 65 years old, I finished teaching and teacher training. And after a particularly vigorous Ashtanga demonstration with lots of chaturangas and coming off a wheel the way I'd never come off one before, I did something to an old shoulder injury from a bike accident and was in pain when I even put my palms together. And the reason I'm sharing that story is because I think we learn from each other. So if you're dealing with something going on in your body, either because of an accident or an injury or just repetitive stress or anything at all, no matter what your age is, just feel encouraged by the fact that you can rehabilitate. So with that in mind, I now do my headstands near a wall most of the time. Sometimes I do it off the wall, but for my mind, I feel safer if I'm near the wall, even if my feet don't touch the wall. And then I know the wall is always there. I often teach it with the wall for people because I see them struggling and not getting it. And really the wall is your friend. A lot of people want to get off the wall with their headstand, and maybe you will, but if you don't worry about it. Another thing that's happened for me with my headstand is I need padding under my head now. So what you want to do is be careful if you do use padding. This is about the maximum level that you would want to use, what I have and I'm sitting on today. Generally, I fold this open one more fold, but for the purposes of the camera, I thought we'll just keep it in here. So we're going to have some fun with headstand today. Your classic headstand is having your hands like this behind your head, and you can see that on another demo that I've shown. The second level of that, which a lot of people find easier to do, so they do this one first, is going from a tripod position. So I'm going to go up today with the tripod position and show you some things from there for fun. If you already have a headstand practice and you're pretty strong at it, you can work on these things off the wall. So for my purposes, though, I would rather demo it to you, and often I do just do things on the wall. So here we go. First thing is make sure that the top of the head is on the floor. A lot of people do it so that their forehead goes more towards the floor, and that's gonna not be so nice for your neck. You want to feel like your neck feels the same way it does is when you're standing up. So today I'm going to go up. Well, this is the tripod position. So I'll go up to the tripod position, my fingers spread wide. I'm going to walk in and I'm just going to bring my legs up. So see, I haven't touched the wall yet, but I know the wall is there. So here is one variation, right? So another thing you can do, which becomes pretty fun if you are pretty steady in your headstand, is to take those hands out here. And I discovered something today in my practice about a V. If I spread my fingers wide, which you may not be able to see here, but my fingers are spread very wide, I was able to take my heels off the floor for longer, off the wall for longer, right? Off my support, which is not the floor right now with my feet, it is the wall. Okay, so here's some fun. We're not going to take too long with this, but look at this. If you spread your fingers wide and change the position, my feet are off the wall now. I'm going to open my legs up. Now for me, I often have to put my heels back on the wall for security, but I can put my weight into my left fingers and come onto one hand. I can play with taking the heels off the wall too. So that's what I'm doing. I'm playing with it. Just for a brief moment, they come off, then they go back, then I catch my balance with the arm. Here's the other one. Now, if you want to go for both, it helps me to have my legs apart. I stay more balanced than if I do it like this, right? But here I go with my legs apart. Oh my goodness, I take my buttocks towards the wall. They're not touching the wall. And here I am without my hands, right? So one more thing I'm going to show you is this one that I did earlier, where your palms are facing up. And I said I spread my fingers wide. That one, I want to just be clear, that one works for me with my legs together and the fingers spread wide. Then my heels, I'm playing with it right now. They're coming on and off the wall. So one other thing that you can do with your headstand, you can do that in the full position, which we're not working with today, but you can do a full lotus. So if you have a lotus pose, you can go into that full lotus and play around with it, right? So this is for people who have been doing some yoga, and with the wall, you can be a little more fearless.
Then what I've also found, because I've had some shoulder issues since that rehab, I'm not as strong. Coming down this full position, that's the first position. I can't do as slowly, I don't have as much control. But now, if I have my hands here, I can come down with the control that I used to have in position one. And then you hold it, and this is really good, and then you come down. And there are some really fun
Variations of headstand. Now, if you don't do headstand yet, please go back to the headstand clips that I did a few years ago. And there's one on the wall and one off the wall. It takes you step by step, and work on your headstand first. It really takes time for some of us, and do take the time, don't rush. And a lot of people are concerned about their neck here, but if you're set up right with your arms at the correct angle, particularly with this one, you don't want your elbows really wide, then you will get your headstand. As with any pose, what's most important is the foundation, is the setup. So don't rush that, and then take your time learning how to do it off the wall. Taking those legs straight up in the air is challenging because you're moving away from your center of gravity, and it's always easier to balance when you're closer to your center of gravity. So I hope all that information helped you today. I look forward to bringing you more information. And if you are someone who's going to work with that headstand, that is called the king of all poses, do enjoy it. If you never do a headstand, that's fine too. But for those who'd like to, go ahead and have some fun. And thanks very much. Have a great day.